Hello, and this is vlog 10 of Rally Race Guys. Today we're going to be painting the rear beam as I've just prepped it, or finished prepping it, and continuing to paint it and assemble it if we can in this episode to try and get it back on the car so we can get the car rolling again, because we need to move this around. So, this is what Rob did the other day. So, yeah, they're nice and painted now. So, with engine paint, the same stuff we used on the backers. It's not as shiny because the surface is matted. So, because it's a cast surface. So here we have the rear beam prepped, all prepped. At the moment we've got that heater there and that heater there heating this room, so it's quite a small room, as you can see. Okay, that's my roll cage under there. Just I don't want it getting overspray, even though we're painting that black. I don't want to overspray on this because I want it a nice finish. So I've gone back over, and I shouldn't really touch it. These are my oily gloves. I sprayed it all down with panel wipe, so it shouldn't react at all. So we're going to be just flattening everything over. I'm going to keep these bushes in at the moment because I don't want to replace them. They're quite hard to get out. So I don't want to mess around with them. I've taped up that shaft there and the shaft under here. This shaft here, because that's where the shocks go and shocks mount, and the wheel bearings mount. We don't want anything on that ground surface to impede putting them back on, etc. So we haven't found any much faults with this at the moment, so we're going to go ahead and start spraying. Okay, so with the rear beam we want to just quickly go over it with satin black paint. Nothing too fancy, just some stuff off eBay, which I got 6 cans for 20 quid, so I'm not complaining. So to start spraying, you want the lightest coat possible to start off with, then build it up and build it up and build it up. On this, because it's so pitted, etc., I think I'm going to do 3 or 4 coats. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's on the underside of the car. All we're trying to do is make it look nicer when it goes back on the car, and preserve it a little bit longer before, so we can do a season or 2 or what have you, and then whip it off, change it out, and just get this one reconditioned properly, because we don't have the funds at the moment. So the quickest way is leave it be completely. All I've done is take the shocks off, taped it up, wire brushed it like you saw last episode, and I'm going to just flat it out, or quickly go over it with some really quick sandpaper, just to give it a little bit more texture, a little bit of finer texture, and then we'll be on with painting. While each coat is drying, because you don't want to do it straight away, you don't want any runs. I know it's on the other side of the car, but why have runs, etc. I'm going to be, these sections here. The cups, I still haven't gone over them with the wire brush or on the grinder, so that's what I'm going to be doing while I'm going to do each of them. So that should give me enough drying time for the next coat, etc, etc. Also, we're going to flip it over so we get all surfaces, which is going to be a tricky, but we're going to have some fun. Well, let's get painting. Another tip is to warm your cans. So I've got a little 3 kilowatt heater here, and I've got my 2 cans of paint just under here, which I'm going to shake up as well, but it just comes out nicer because we are in England and it is cold. So so that's what I've done. It just creates like a bit of a sauna or a steam room, etc. So it's a hot environment for the cans, to get warm and evenly warm as well. You don't just want one side, you want all of it. So that's a good technique. So we'll get on with painting. Also, another good item to buy if you're going to be doing a car like me is one of these 3M masks from Screwfix. They're not that expensive. They're 15 quid, but it will save you getting a lot of bunged up noses, and it can really harm you, the paint can. So if you get a decent mask, you're not going to be coughing, etc., and it can be really harmful for you. Get one of the 3M ones because they're trusted, the professionals use them, and they're not that expensive. If you go for the 100 pack of for £5, they will protect you, but not as much as this one. And I don't know if this one's got removable. I don't think this, no. So I'm gonna have to buy a new one, but after this. But this will last me the whole of painting of the car and inside and all the components underneath, etc. So I'll just need one mask, and there you go. So that's coat 1 painted. So you can see it's looking a little bit different. Come on, focus. Yeah, and there you go. So it's looking a little bit different. It doesn't need a lot for this third coat. We're just putting a base primer down, or a base coat down, and then we'll go heavier and heavier and heavier. It will look very nice once we're finished. Now I'm going to let that dry with the 2 heaters. Shut that. That's the can that I've just used just ran out, so it's perfect for what I wanted to do, which was just put a single coat down. But now I've got the full can, and that should be enough for all other coats. So over here I've got the that cup that I was talking about earlier, and I've got to get this nice and get all the surface rust, etc., which then we're going to spray black as well, just so it all completes the package. I've got another one in the cupboard, so we'll get on with this. We've just got the standard grinder like I was using last episode. So I've got another mask on because I don't want to use my painting mask, and I've got some eyes protection as well. And don't forget your air protection. So literally 5 minutes, nothing. So here's the difference. So this is the one I've just done. So nice and shiny. It's not 100% inside, but I don't really care about the inside. I can't really get there with the grinder, but I'm happy with the overall finish with that. But this is what we started with, so it's a massive improvement to what we had. But yeah, so most of the surface is off, and that one is now ready for paint, and now we're going to do that one. But first we're going to go and do the second coat. So this is what the second coat looks like. It looks a lot better than it did, but it's not 100%. As you can see, it's there, etc. But after this coat we're going to flip it over, do the underside, so do the light coat, then the heart coat, then flip it over again, then do the final coat, then flip it over again, and then do the final undercoat, and then it's done and dusted. So that is both done, ready for paint. So this is now dry. As you can see, it's coming out really nice finish. So I'm going to sit you down here and then flip it over, and then we're going to do a little coat again on the bottom, and get all the bits that are missed. So as you can see, this is what it was like on the bottom, which is, so it needs painting, and we'll come back after this. So as I've just done, I've just flipped it as you just seen, and I've just laid down the base coat. And now, because I've done the 2 mounts, I am now going to focus on underneath and get that more prepped for undersealing, and when that process happens. So I've got the same grinder. I'm going to wear the same mask, the white one, and the goggles to go underneath and go and finish that off. I've done the final coat on the rear beam, and let's go and check it out. So here we go. It's looking a lot better. It's a bit weird in this light though, because of the orange light. But as you can see, it's a lot better to what we started with. It's all covered now. Now I've just moved this handy rack over, which is a clothes rail, which is from Argos, which is, I think it's 11 or 10.99 or 9.99, which is perfect for this sort of thing when you don't want to touch things and you want to hang things, and you got the heater there, and I can just spray on here willy-nilly. So and it doesn't really matter if it does get a bit of paint on it, because it wasn't that much, and this is what it's for. So I'm going to paint these while this is drying. It doesn't matter if there's a bit of overspray, because it'll add to the thickness of the coat, but let's get going. So that is the first coat of that done. There you go. So this is a light coat. It looks a little bit darker because of the angle, but yep. So this is drying, and I'll show you what I've been doing under the car. So, under the car, I've been making a lot of headway. So most of it is clear. I've just got the finer details, like in here, etc. So we are well on the way. This can nearly be a little bit of primer and then underseal, or rust treated then underseal. So we don't have any instances later on. But yeah, we're well on the way. So this is day 2 of building the beam. So I've got everything laid out here. So as you can see, we've got everything assembled that was over here, down here, and on the same side as well. So I will build one side to show you how it goes together, and I'll build the other side off camera, just so we can speed up the time of the vlog, because I know this is going to be a long vlog, because of the nature of putting this back together. So let's go on with it. So to start with, we will pop the shop back in. Let's just pop it back in a bit. Okay, so that is simply there and there. It only goes in one way because these are small and this is large, and the largest side is here, like that. So slide it on. But everything we're going to do, we're going to grease and Loctite it. So we're going to grease the shafts so they don't stick, and we're going to Loctite the nuts, even though they are lock nuts. But because they have been used, we just want that extra security. So I can't find my Loctite, or it's disappeared, so we're just going to lube everything up with white grease, and copper ease or copper slip, just to make sure that everything doesn't bind nicely. You don't want to put too much on, and I'm going to get cloth just because I put a little bit too much on, and then ease that over everything else. So that's all lubed up. So this is the bigger end, that is the bigger end. We'll slide that on here. Pop that through there. Okay. So this will need pushing to get this bolt in, but we'll deal with this nut first. We'll do everything loosely for the moment, and so that's on there. I know it's not on the foot all the way. Okay, so we've got this one. We've got the 2 washers to go either side. Let's undo that, and we'll just lube the shank up, and then we'll pop it in. And a good old hammer just to persuade it in. Just like that. And we'll pop that here. So that's this bit done. Okay, then we'll work on the drum. So everything goes off this here. We've got 2 bits. Okay, so in the kit we do get a new O-ring, which is pretty easy to do. Okay, just pull that back. Okay. We'll just clean this flange up as well with a razor blade, something along these lines, just to go over that. Okay, and this was the orientation of that one, wherever the. Okay, so I'm going to do the same orientation, which is there. So just like that, and then that will push against that. Okay. So the backing plate, we've got to do everything in reverse. So backing plate has 4 bolts. So this is a H6. Just going to tighten these up in a cross pattern. Okay, now that one's done. We're going to pop in the new wheel cylinder. So there you go. Okay, we're just gonna go this way. So the wheel cylinder bolts are 10mm. So that's all nice and secure. Okay. For this part I'm going to put the gloves back on just so I don't get any grease or oil over that. We will just spray it with brake cleaner once we finish. So this is the chute. Okay, so little bit, big bit, so a little bit there, big bit there, but we've got 4 or 6 contact points, excluding these, which I'll move up. Okay, so this one's the wrong one. That side. Okay. So open the bottom bit out, slide that here, like that, and push that there. Okay. So I'm going to do this bottom spring here first. So let's put the new pin in. Top hat, or spring, and then top hat. And that's what happens. So let's put it on again. So we're nearly there. So here you go. That's that on. Okay. So everything's there. So now it is all done. I'll show you. Other than this bolt here, which we know is the bent one. So next week when I'm in town, I will go and grab a new bolt. So let me just flip this over to show you. So nice new shiny bits. There you go, all done up. I've just got to repress the wheel bearings out because they are in backwards, so then they won't allow the shaft to actually go on, so which is a little bit disappointing, but it's only a 2-minute job. Yeah, so that's ready to go. I'm going to move it over into storage, and it will be on some carpet so it doesn't get scratched, so it will be ready to for that bolt down there. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you've got any other questions about how I did it or bits I missed, just pop them down in the description below. And like and subscribe, follow our social media because that's where most of our hints and stuff are. But yeah, thank you for watching and bye.